My name is Travis Robinson, and this is day 2 of my Restart and Rise journey. So you see, I'm documenting 30 days of rebuilding myself as a man from the inside out. Not to chase pity, not to impress anybody, but to finally become the man I was created to be by His Most High. Today, I want to talk about the difference between being a provider and being a pillar. For most of my adult life, I thought those two things were the same. If the lights were on, if the rent was paid, if there was food in the fridge, I told myself, Travis, you're doing your job. You're being a man. And in some ways, that's true. Providing matters. It's part of our responsibility. But what I've learned is that you can be a provider and still completely miss your role as a pillar. A provider brings money. A pillar brings presence. A provider handles the bills. A pillar helps hold up the emotional weight of the house. A provider says, I got you financially. A pillar says, I'm with you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually too. And here's where it gets real. When you're stuck in provider only mode, you start talking and thinking a certain way. It sounds like, look, I'm paying these bills, whatever you want, gonna have to wait. Or, I don't care what you're saying, I'm the one keeping this whole thing running. Or, running, roof over your head, car in the driveway, food in the fridge, then get off my back. If I'm out all night, I don't wanna hear it. You ain't complaining when the lights come on and the rent is paid. I work hard. I don't want to come home and take care of the baby and the kids. I don't want to go to that game if I got to be at work early tomorrow. Your car is paid. You got what you need, so don't bother me about how I show up. And then it shows up in how we treat our free time. If we want to go hang with the boys, if we want to go golfing, hit the bar, watch the game, or run with our crew, we tell ourselves, man, my wife can't complain about nothing. My kids got everything they want. If I want to go out and have a good time, I'm going to go out and have a good time. Well, we'll be out there bragging to each other. She's got a car, she's got a house, kids got clothes and food. So she better not say nothing about me taking time for me. We dress it up as self-care, as I deserve this, and this is how I blow off steam. But a lot of times, we're not being considerate at all of what that looks like for the people at home, carrying the day-to-day weight while we disappear. And we call all of this being responsible, being a man, doing what we have to do. But underneath that, if we're being honest, a lot of times what we're really saying is this: as long as I'm paying for everything, I get to do what I want. Everything else comes second. We start believing that the money we bring in gives us a pass on the presents we're not bringing. We expect our wives to stay at home and cook and have the laundry done, to keep the house together, to keep the kids happy. And then on top of all that, we want them to be grateful we're providing, even if we're emotionally checked out. We don't think about the consequences of those attitudes and decisions. Not just how they affect our wives, but how they affect our children. Think about what that looks like from a child's point of view. And I know they see a father who's always gone, always tired, always talking about work, always saying, I can't, I gotta grind. They hear the arguments. They feel the tension. They notice when dad snaps or shuts down or disappears into his phone or into his game or into his job, hobbies, or into his side hustles or his drinks. They grow up thinking that love looks like money but feels like distance. And our wives, they carry the weight we're not carrying. They're home with the kids, managing emotions, managing schedules, managing their own feelings. And then still trying to keep pouring into us when we finally do show up half present, half exhausted, half available. From our side, we think, man, I'm doing everything I can. Why isn't that enough? From their side, they're thinking, you're doing everything but being here. This is the hard truth, fellas. I've had to face it. Being a provider does not give me the right to ignore the people I'm providing for. Being a provider does not excuse me from being a father, a husband, a listener, a protector, and have presence. A pillar doesn't get to clock out from the emotional structure of the home. A pillar is there, not perfect, not with all the answers, but there. A pillar shows up even when he's tired. A pillar learns how to say, I'm worn out, whew, but I'm here, talk to me. So on this restart and rise journey, I'm asking myself, where have I used I pay the bills as a shield to dodge the deeper work of being a pillar? Because the truth is, money can keep the lights on, but it can't heal a heart. Money can pay for uniforms, but it can't replace a father at the game. Money can buy toys, but it can't buy a child's sense of being seen and valued and loved. I don't want to be remembered as the man who worked hard but wasn't there. I want to be remembered as the man who carried his weight with his family, not just for his family. That's the shift from provider to pillar. Women, if you know any men like this, please share this video. Men, if you know any other brothers like this, any fathers like this, please share this video. Because it's time for us as men, as generations, and as families to restart, rise, and reign. My name is Travis. This was day 2 of Restart and Rise. Let's restart, let's rise one day at a time, and thank you.